Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the episode of Legal Talks at IntelliJuris. For our listeners tuning in, Advocate Bhaskar Aditya, sir, has been practicing law since 2016 and recently he cleared the AOR examination. His area of practice include criminal law, taxation, matrimonial law, and arbitration. Passing over the conversation to Sakshi Priya as we delve into the legal talk.
Thank you, Bhamini. First of all, congratulations, sir, on clearing the
Thank you.
prestigious Advocates on Record examination conducted by
Thank
the
you.
Supreme Court of India. So, the first question and the first term that pops up to the mind is who is an AOR? The term advocate on record itself. So, to start with, sir, please introduce us to the term advocates on record and what are the benefits of being one?
Okay, so advocate on record in itself, if you can see its full form is Advocate on Record, Supreme Court of India. So if you want to file a case in a Supreme Court, so you need to clear this exam for Advocate on Record. Even if you are a practicing advocate, even you are practicing from like 10 years, 12 years, but if you don't clear this exam, you can't file a case in a Supreme Court of India. So to practice in a Supreme Court, you need to clear the exam of Advocate on Record. So my personal experience when I was not an AOR, when I was practicing in Supreme Court through through different AORs, I used to take my case to the AOR, need to explain them, and then they used to file the case. So it's his name comes into the portal of the Supreme Court. So for a client who is going to the Supreme Court for any conduct, the AOR is answerable to the Supreme Court of India. They are the officers of the Supreme Court of India. So this is what an AOR is. And the impact of an AOR in the practice of the in this legal profession. So the first and the foremost thing is that you have 5 years of experience. To clear an AOR exam, you need to have a 5 years of experience. So 5 years of experience and then clearing this exam, it itself gives a impression on the client. Okay, the person with whom I'm dealing has cracked this exam. He's having this much of experience. So it creates a perception. Otherwise, it's all about your legal acumen. It's all about your knowledge. It's all about your skills, which helps you to enhance your practice.
Sure, sir. Acknowledged. Definitely being an EOR adds up to the legal profile of an advocate itself. Sir, coming towards how to now be an EOR, the examination as is conducted by the Supreme Court, what are the eligibility criteria? What are the qualifications one need to have before attempting this exam?
See, the eligibility criteria of being an AOR is first you need to have the 5 years of experience at the lower court or the high court. And then thereafter, you have to join for 1 year of training under an AOR who is having the experience of more than 10 years as AOR. So
Yes, sir.
after showing this almost 6 years of a record, then you are eligible to fill up the form of the AOR examination, and from there you have to prepare for the examination, and then if you clear the examination, you become the advocate on record. So, and as far as what you asked is how to clear advocate on record examination. So unfortunately, I have cleared it in second attempt. So, and which I have learned my lesson from first attempt to the second attempt is that this exam you don't need to give this exam as a student.
Yes.
You have to sit there as an advocate. You are giving this exam
Mm,
as an advocate. So when the question paper comes to you, don't think like a student or don't think like an academician. Okay, these are the questions, I have to answer this. Take it very seriously. It's not the question, it's not the examiner who is asking you the question. It's the Take it like this is the client who is asking you these questions, because Supreme Court is the last ray of hope for any litigant. After that, there's
sure,
nothing.
sir. Hmm.
So obviously, the examiner or anyone who is scrutinizing your answer sheet will take these things very seriously. Whether the answer which you have given is it to the point or not. They don't need any longish answers. They don't need any a big legal theory or big legal maxims. All they need to understand whether this person is fit to be the advocate on record or not. That is whether this person can be a last ray of hope for the person who is coming to the Supreme Court.
Got it, sir. So now the most important question as to how to prepare for this examination. So firstly, please introduce us to the exam pattern, and then what was your strategy towards the examination?
Okay. So, to clear this examination, there are four subjects. So, one is practice and procedure, second is drafting, third is professional ethics, and fourth is leading cases. Leading cases, there are 64 cases in total right now. It may increase by day because the landmark judges are being given by Supreme Courts almost every year, so it may get updated. So these are the four subjects. So how to clear it? The first thing is that you can't mug up all the subjects. So mugging up, if you are thinking that mugging up for 1 month or 1.5 months or 2 months, 3 months, you clear the exam, that's not going to happen. Because the what I have experienced, this exam requires your practical skills. They used to check in these 5 years of your practice or even 1 year under an AOR. What are your practical skills? What are your practical knowledge you are having? So this is the thing which is required in AOR examination. So my strategy was, so the biggest challenge which a lawyer face after 5 years to give an AOR examination, because they are almost loaded with their work also. So at that time you have to do the time management, like this time I will give it to my work, and this time I have to give it to my studies. Okay. So, and one more thing which I have made the strategy, I haven't given time to those long notes. I haven't I just listened to the lectures which has been given by the SCORA, that is Supreme Court Advocate on AOR, Advocate on Record associations. I used to follow those lectures. And when you will go through, so like first paper is practice and procedure. So practice and procedure mainly deals with the practice in the Supreme Court of India, which is synchronized with the articles in the Constitution. So from there we have realized, so in practice and procedure, what we need to understand is the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court of India, which is the most important. Like like in what situations we can file the case in the Supreme Court. So it deals with the jurisdiction. Then it also deals on aspects, like obviously after filing the case there are various stages where we need to file some interim applications, where we need to file, where we when we should withdraw the case, or when the petition becomes the infructuous. So these things deals in the practice and procedure. So it's all about the practical knowledge which you are bearing. Second is the drafting. As I said, that examiner doesn't see how longish answers you are writing in the drafting, or they are mostly content driven. So when you draft anything, when you draft a case, it should be, as a professional, when you draft a case, it should be more appealing towards the judge who is looking into your draft. So like that, you have to draft the certain things like transfer petition, specially petition, appeals, anything. Because as I said, it is the last ray of hope. So content is the most important thing. You write 3 contents, it's fine. But when you write 10 contents and it's of no use, examiner is not going to give you the marks. Third is the professional ethics. So professional ethics deals with anyone, even if you are a student, you understand that what is ethical and what is not ethical. So very one of the legal luminary, when we were dealing with this examination, he said, ethics is not what we do. Ethics is something what we should not do. So this thing we have to keep in our
Acknowledge
mind.
them.
What we should not do is the ethics. And the last is the leading cases. So in leading cases, there are 64 cases. You have to go through the 64 cases, but not like you have to mug up the 64 cases. Those 64 cases are divided into the subcategories, like basic structure of the Constitution, Article 21, right to life, and there are many other things like death sentences, criminal laws. So you have to segregate the topics and then include those cases in those subtopics. It will make your preparation very easy. So I think this was my strategy as far as leading case was concerned. Drafting, what I did in the drafting, I was very much particular with my format, because see, you have 3 hours time. In those 3 hours, you have to attempt all the questions. So in AOR examination, as I said, don't go for longish answer is one more reason, because examiner also see whether in these 3 hours you have completed all the questions or not. So I was very particular with the format thing, so that if format becomes like if there's any problem in the format, it's going to be zero. It can be zero. Examiner can do that, because obviously, as I said, it's a last ray of hope, and you're not attending as a student. So obviously, I was very particular with the format, and then on the basis of time, I was particular with the content. I think in the second, I still remember in my first attempt when unfortunately I haven't cleared my AOR. So I was very much particular with everything format. There should be long answers, and I have attended all the questions. So in second attempt, what I did, I just drew the format, and then I was very short with the content, like two contents, three contents, it's enough. And almost I scored double what I got in first AOR examination. So this is the thing.
Yes, sir. So, is there any specific study material that you can refer, and that would be very beneficial for us?
See, as far as study, there are a lot of study materials, but it's like when you have time. Down the line, after 5 years of practice, you are also loaded with your
Mhm.
work. So you go to the
Exactly.
Supreme Court websites. There are a lot of study materials by. There is one with learned Attorney General of Venkat Ramani. He has also given some study materials for the preparation. You can refer that. But my only suggestion is that see, if you have time, go for those thick study material. I have no problem, but I have touched those study material, but moreover I have prepared my own notes. I have prepared my own notes. So I think if you start preparing your own notes and you go through that, that will make your preparation far better.
Yes, sir. But sir, as a practicing advocate, how difficult it was to manage both the things, studying as well as practicing?
So as a practicing advocate, it was very difficult, because because after 5 years you are also I am still under the juniorship. So you obviously, because when you are you are a first generation lawyer, you always need a senior around you. So I really got the big support from my senior. He has relieved me from the work. He told you go and study for your examination, but still that he was my senior, he relieved me. But somehow I had my personal client. They don't care whether you give AOR examination or where you go for UPSC. They don't care. They just need to
Exactly,
their
sir.
work to be done. So what I used to do late night, I used to give. You have to compromise somewhere. So I used to
Mm-hmm.
compromise with my sleep. So late
Yes,
night, I've
sir.
given it to my preparation, and at the daytime courts and work. So I think if you take the down the line of 45 days and 3 hours per day, it's enough to for the AOR examination. But these 45 days to be taken very seriously. Otherwise, 3 months, 6 months is required.
Sure, sir. And also staying true to one strategy along with discipline, I think anyone can navigate the path towards success. And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, somehow.
Yes, sir, no doubt. Sir, also looking back towards your professional life as a litigant, the journey would definitely have been tough. So, would you like to share some lessons that you learned throughout the journey that could work as a motivation for budding lawyers as well as law students like us?
Okay, so see, the first thing which everyone should keep in mind, any, whether he is a fresher, whether he is an experienced advocate, or whether it's a student, once you enter into the litigation, the first thing you need to do is to compromise with your ego. Ego is your biggest villain in this career. There will be client, there are uh, many people are there. There will be judges who will scold you, who is going to means there are many clients who are going to say you irrelevant thing which is not required. You will be like what he's saying and all. So just keep those things aside. Just concentrate on your work. So what my experience was, never compromise with your ego. So what has happened when as a paralegal, I got enrolled, but I appeared before the consumer forum. So at that point of time, I was not aware about the thing, arbitration, because I was new to this profession, and they were the second party was saying that the arbitration is going on. It's a parallel remedy, and I bowed down to what my senior told me. You have to say this. So I was like adamant towards it. Then I got scolded from the judge. What you are saying? But after getting scolded, he explained me. You see, this thing. You should take care of these things. So I think that in the practical field, when you get scoldings or when you get failures, you learn from it. The only thing you two things which is need to be taken care of: first, your ego should be set aside, and second, the client should not suffer. The client should not suffer. So what I'm saying is there will be a time when you will be arguing. There will be another side who will try to provoke you, who will try to say something, and then you may lose your temper before the court. Not required. Don't do that, because you will lose your temper, but your client will lose the case, who is not at all,
Exactly.
who should not be involved in. So my
Mhm.
two things are there. First, don't always compromise with your ego whenever, always it is required. And the second thing, don't make the client suffer.
Great advice, sir. We will definitely keep that in our mind. To the end of this conversation, I feel we have not just learned about AOR examination, the strategy to clear it, but also the importance of discipline, determination, and perseverance to become successful in life. So, we really hope that this conversation will help these listeners to consider and also plan of becoming an AOR in their future legal career. We are really very honored, sir, by your valuable presence and the guidance, expertise, and wisdom that you shared with us.
Thank
We really wish you a wonderful day and a healthy life ahead, sir. Thank you so
thank you,
much.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.